The Birth Healing Summit is on its 10th season. Listen into today's episode as I share some of my highlights from this year's Birth Healing Summit, which focuses on pregnancy and labor and begins April 8th. Hello, friends. This is Lynn Schulte, and you are listening to the Birth Healing Summit podcast. We are here for meaningful conversations that will transform the way you work with pregnant and postpartum clients. Whether it is a new perspective, tool, or technique, you'll be able to implement it into your practice today. I invite you to sit back, listen with an open mind, and grab the golden nugget today's guest has to offer. Now let's get started. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of the Birth Healing Podcast. And today I wanted to share with you some of my favorites of the Birth Healing Summit this year. And, I went through each and every one of the interviews and I was just like, oh my gosh, I learned so much from each and every one that it's hard for me to choose my favorites because there's some golden nuggets in each and every one of them. So I encourage you, please check them all out. There's really good information shared in each and every interview. The ones that stand out to me the most are the ones that have impacted my clinical practice the most, I think, with the knowledge that I learned from doing these interviews this year. We are focusing on pregnancy and labor. So that was really, really fun for me to dive into this whole new topic that we've never dove into before. We've always focused on postpartum healing in the Birth Healing Summit. And we all know that what happens in pregnancy can help support a better labor, which definitely helps support the postpartum healing aspect. So that's why I chose to focus on the pregnancy and labor. Plus, it was our 10th season. I wanted to do something different, and pregnancy and labor is definitely different. And boy, has it been just impactful for my practice. And I'm going to say the highlight. There's several highlights for me, but like I said, it was really hard for me to distill them down into my favorites because they were all really good. The ones that stick out, I apologize, I'm not going to talk about each and every interview that I did, but the ones that really have impacted my practice the most, I want to just share with you what that was, and hopefully you'll be able to listen in and allow these interviews to impact your practice as well. The first one, I really hope everybody is able to listen into Gabrielle Brennan's interview. She is a midwife from Australia, and she talks about tension's impact on the fetal position and how the linea nigra, that black or brown line that is on some people's bellies, not everybody creates a linea nigra during their pregnancy. However, when you do have one, it's so amazing to hear what she has to say about how that tells us where there's tension in the body and where we can work. So that was incredible. And then she talked a lot about how the aches and the pains that a pregnant person complains of is also giving us information of where there's tension in their body and where we need to work. And also she talks about the different positions that babies choose to get into, whether they are right in the midline, entering in head, right in the midline, or whether the head is heading off into one hip. Or I've never seen this in my practice, but she says that some babies actually sit on the top of the pubic bone and their head is not inside the pelvis, but it's actually lipping over the pubic bone. So that was interesting for me. And with each of those presentations, she talks about what areas of the body that we should be focusing in on to do some of that work. So that will help the baby position better and hopefully give the baby more space and balance in that body so they're able to have a smoother birth. So that alone is worth the price of admission for this year's Birth Healing Summit. So I really hope everybody will join in and be a part of this year's Birth Healing Summit, and make sure you put that one on top of your list. The other one is Taryn Hallam's talk. Taryn is so lovely and so beautiful to talk with. And her talk is labor choices, birth choices, and how we can use the research to help guide our clients. And that is something that we all need to know about. Her focus was mainly on OASIS, so obstetrical anal sphincter injuries. And when someone has a grade 3, grade 4 tear, how do we as practitioners guide them in a subsequent pregnancy? What does the research say about will they tear that badly again or what? And let me, spoiler alert, typically the research says that they don't tear as bad the next time. However, there's 3 different factors that we as practitioners can look for. And there's a reason why everybody who does have a grade 3, 4 tear needs to see a pelvic floor PT to help one of these aspects. And you need to be aware of these so that you can best guide your clients in their decision making of whether should I just go have a C-section or will it be as bad the next time around. Super, super helpful. So please make sure you put Taryn's interview on the top of your list. Then another one is a good friend of mine, Amanda Ogden. She is an amazing lactation consultant here. She's an IBCLC down in the Denver, Colorado area. Her and I work together, and she has amazing information to share with us about colostrum harvesting and what that is and why it's so beneficial and impactful. Colostrum harvesting helps with milk supply. Boy, do I wish I would have known about this when my first baby was born. I know it wasn't a thing 24 years ago, but I needed that. And I think this is information that we, as practitioners supporting pregnant clients, really need to know about and help facilitate our clients doing this. And the benefits are incredible for babies. And I just really hope that you all will listen into this and start spreading the news about this idea of colostrum harvesting, and let's start getting our pregnant clients doing this to help support their milk supply, to help support their baby's digestive system. So such great information there. And then Sandi Gallagher did an amazing talk on labor tens and why we as physical therapists are not promoting this more and helping our pregnant clients to get a unit and to use this during labor. I'm shocked that we haven't jumped on board with this. So I'm hoping that this interview will give you the impetus. She talks about all the settings and everything that we need to do in order to support our clients in using TENS during their labor. So TENS is transcutaneous electrical nervous stimulation. That's what TENS stands for. And it's a little unit device that with electrodes, and we can help our clients put the electrodes on, figure out the best format of placement for those and the parameters for that, help them to experience that so that they could use this during labor. The research shows that it's almost as effective as an epidural, and an epidural is not always effective. I know I've seen and heard from my clients who like, oh, it helped my left leg go numb, but not my right. And so I had all the pain on the right side. Whereas with a TENS unit, it's more adjustable and could be more effective for some people, especially people that we know might maybe have a scoliosis or have any lumbar spine defects that might make getting an epidural not be as successful as it should be. So these are things that we need to keep in the top of our mind when we're working with our pregnant clients and let them know that, hey, this is a thing. So another great interview this year was with Rowan. She's an occupational therapist, and she gave a presentation on the rhythms of the bowel and how we have holding and releasing rhythms. And what I really appreciated about her interview was the exercises and the ways that we can help give our clients these ideas and to help allow the releasing of the bowels. So please make sure you check out her interview as well. And then, oh gosh, I have a treat for you with Gina Mundy. Gina is a childbirth attorney, and she wrote a book on how to have a safer childbirth. And she shares with us some of the key components or aspects of childbirth cases so that we can be aware and we can share this information with our pregnant clients so that they can avoid some of these mistakes that were made, or at least be aware of the scenarios that actually created the mistakes to be made in the first place. And one of them is a very busy labor unit. And so what someone can do to help minimize the chance of a mistake happening to them that might cause problems. And I'll share another little golden nugget. Pitocin is also in the mix with that too. So listen in to hear what she has to say about Pitocin and how we can help our clients understand what they can do if they need to get Pitocin to start labor or to help out in labor, because there's some really key factors in the administration of Pitocin that causes problems. So please check that out. Ken McGee and he is such a sweet soul, had a great interview on transgender birth. And he shares about whether it's safe or not. Some people may have a question about that with all the hormones that transgender people are taking. And is it safe? What does the research have to say about that? And we also talk, he's very open about helping us as practitioners to support the transgender population better. So please, that's such important work. And I encourage everybody to make sure you listen to that. And then John Wilks and I have a wonderful conversation on the effects of birth on the body and how there's mechanical stresses that happens when we're born. And also, you know me, I brought in the more energetic aspects of the birth as well. And John is just such a beautiful craniosacral therapist over in Europe and just does a beautiful job talking to me about that. So I think there's tons more. Oh, Yeni. I loved getting to know Yeni in her interview. She was talking about infertility. And what I really appreciated about the interview with Yeni was our discussion on pain. And so what Yeni has to say about us creating pain during a session. And it was at one point in her interview, I was like, oh my gosh, I wonder if the students who have studied with me are listening into this interview and seeing how much Yeni talks exactly like I do. So I found that so interesting. And it was so great to connect with someone that I have such a beautiful connection with because we think very similarly in most regards. So that was really fun. And then UC, Dr. UC Uchenna Ossai, she came in and was talking about sex education. And I just love her sex positive approach to sex education. And what she shares with us was just kind of eye-opening for me too. So I hope that you will check that out. There's a couple of other interviews. I apologize to those speakers that I didn't cover. I don't think I missed much. I do want to mention that we there during the summit this year, we are doing 2 interviews live and in person. And that we are going to be doing Saturday morning. So I think it's the 13th and 14th are the Saturday and Sunday during the summit. We start the summit on April 8th. 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th is Saturday, 14th is Sunday. On Saturday, I believe it's Lori is up first. Lori O'Neill and I, she's a physical therapist in North Carolina. Her and I are she used to be a doula and childbirth educator as well. So she's been in the childbirth space for a very long time. Her and I are going to do a live interview talking about the complete prenatal assessment and what we should be including in our assessment and talking about all different aspects with that. So please join us live for that. I would love to hear your input if there's something that you feel like we're not covering. This is an opportunity for us to have conversations and connections with you as you listen into this interview. It's going to go live at 9 a.m. Mountain Time. And that'll be 11 Eastern and 8 a.m. Pacific time. And then that's Saturday. And then Sunday, Michelle Lyons and Sarah Newman and I are going to get together and talk about cancer in pregnancy. And Sarah's going to share her story and what she's done with that experience. And then Michelle Lyons is going to talk to us more about cancer rehab in the pelvic health space. And so please join us live so that you can have some interaction with us. It's going to be again at 9 a.m. on Sunday morning, 9 a.m. Mountain Time on Sunday morning as well. So I wanted to change things up a little bit, do a couple of live interviews so that you have an opportunity to interact with the speakers and be a part of the interview itself. So please make sure you put that on your calendar and join us for those 2 live interviews. And yeah, so it's an amazing summit. I've already changed how I assess my clients, what I'm sharing with my clients to support them better in that labor process. I feel like I have way more skills to help guide my clients if they're dealing with grade 3-4 tears and what to do next in that subsequent pregnancy, and just so much more is impacting my practice because of doing these interviews. And I can't wait for you to learn this information as well. So please make sure, join us. Number one, join us for the Birth Healing Summit, be a part of it this year. And then what I would encourage you, there's 3 different ways you can access the information. One is that you get a 12-day pass. So you have 12 days to get through as many of the interviews as you can. And then after the end of the 12 days, then you will no longer have any access to those interviews. You can purchase a lifetime pass to the video interviews, and that you'll have lifetime access to. And then there's a premium pass where you get access to the videos, the transcripts, and the audios. If you choose to purchase those lifetime packages, please set aside time during your schedule to still watch them during the event. During the event, you can be interacting on our Facebook group, asking questions of the speakers. They're going to be involved in that and interacting with you there. We're also going to be doing 2 live Facebook groups with several of the speakers. I believe it's Thursday evening Mountain Time, and then Friday morning on the 19th. Yes, the 19th is our next one, and that's going to be at like 10, I think it's 10 a.m. Once you join, you'll get all the information here. And join us for those Facebook Live events. And even if you can't join us live, send me your questions so that I can ask them live. And it's a wonderful group discussion from previous years when we've done it. It's just been amazing, and I've just loved it. And I love the interactions with you and being able to answer your questions. So please make sure that you engage with us. First off, you have to watch the videos so that you can come up with the questions that you may have for us, and then we can join in and answer those questions. And we have a group discussion. Whoever's in the Facebook group, you may direct it to one of the speakers, your question, but anybody else may chime in and offer more input to that question. So it's just an amazing time. And I forgot to tell you about what I'm speaking about in this summit. I did a great Anthony Lowe offered to interview me. So I'm so appreciative of him taking the time out of his schedule to interview me for the summit this year. And he did a great job having a conversation with me about pelvic assessment in pregnancy. And I share all the different pelvic assessments that we should be doing on the bony pelvis to ensure that our clients are going to have as smooth a birth as possible. So please make sure you listen into that. And again, I would love to answer any of your questions that you have from my interview. So whether you purchase, if you do purchase the lifetime access to these interviews, please try to set aside some time during the 2-week time frame of the Birth Healing Summit to listen to those interviews so that you can be a part of this event by asking questions and interacting with the speakers in all these different ways. Okay, so that's what we spruced it up a little bit this year, made it more interactive, more fun for you to be a part of this amazing event. And I hope that you'll really participate as best you can. So thank you for listening into this, everybody. I hope you appreciated my highlights from the Birth Healing Summit 2024. It's a really incredible lineup, great, beautiful speakers sharing their heart's work and their wisdom with us. And I really hope that you find it as impactful as I have on my practice. All right, so thank you for listening into this interview. Here is to smoother births and faster recoveries, and I'll see you all on the next podcast interview. Take care. Bye. Today's podcast was brought to you by the Institute for Birth Healing. To discover more, visit instituteforbirthhealing.com. To claim $50 off of any online course, use coupon code PODCAST50 at checkout. Till next time, I'm Lynn Schulte, founder of the Institute for Birth Healing.